So welcome back to the Rage Fitness Wellbeing podcast. Our next guest is my brother, Adam Brown. So some of our members already know him. And if you don't know him, this podcast will tell you.
Get to know me.
This podcast will tell you everything that you need to know of him. Obviously, Adam's my brother. He's from Liverpool. He runs a hugely successful dance school called Adam Brown Dance Company. And we're going to just generally speak about us being brothers, growing up in Liverpool. Adam's also gay, so we're going to speak about growing up being a gay man in Liverpool and how challenging that was for him around his mental and emotional well-being. And then everything else in between, probably take the piss out of my mum a little bit along the way. And Heather, so she's not getting away with it as well. So thank you, Adam, for coming on to our podcast and just generally joining in.
Thank you for having me involved.
I think you might need to get closer to your mic, to be honest.
This ain't my first rodeo, thank you. Thank you for having me involved in it. I would have liked to be the first guest, but, you know, we'll move along from that one. Bit rude. And, yeah, hit me with your questions.
I don't have any questions, really.
Okay.
Just let it just flow and see what pops up.
That's a wrap. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us, Dad. No, I just thought just generally just flow conversation because we chat a lot of shit anyway off camera. And
Oh, yeah, can we swear on this?
Yeah.
Gorge.
Do whatever you want.
Fucking bitch.
Some kids might watch, so we have to have limits on it.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
And obviously your kids might watch it as well from the dance school, so you have to be somewhat PG, but nothing more than what we already know.
Yeah. I'm always PJ.
Oh, you're shite. So Charlotte was the first one. Did you watch the podcast?
Yes, I watched half it with you and yours, and then
yeah, you did, didn't you?
And then I subscribed to your channel, which just everyone go on the YouTube channel of Rage, and I don't think they've subscribed to my channel yet. So,
well, we did, but you're saying we
it hasn't come through on my notifications yet, guys.
That's
so
that's not the situation.
but yeah, no, I did watch it.
What did you think about it?
Yeah. It, like, you think you can't know a person, and then you watch it and go, well, I didn't know that, and like, how long have I known her for? I don't know.
6 years, 5, 6 years.
I thought it was longer than that, but yeah.
No, 5, 6 years. Because as she said on the first episode, she always remembers how long we've been together by how old Elijah is. Because we first got together.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was speaking to her when I was in the hospital waiting for Elijah to be born. So that's how she remembers all that. But yeah, like a lot of people said the same thing.
6 years.
Mad, innit? Everyone said the same thing around Charlotte.
You feel like
you know someone,
yeah.
and then it's just like such a fucking eye-opener
And
around here.
And that shows like how strong like them type of people are. You kind of think you know a person and who they are, and they haven't been through that. And then when they speak about it, you think, oh wow, like.
I think because she speaks with such honesty and passion, and to be honest, she's never spoke to anybody, especially outside of like the comfort of me and then maybe her friends and stuff like that. But to speak in front of Jordan and then speak in front of cameras and then put that on Spotify, YouTube.
Oh God, yeah.
Really exposed her, and she really felt uncomfortable about it. But like I said to her, I said you'll underestimate how much this will help people. Like the amount of, I've said this before already on social media and group emails, like the amount of people that replied and swiped up on the stories and everything else and directly messaged Charlotte and still directly messaging Charlotte saying I can so relate to what you were talking about.
Because the thing is, like, Instagram and a picture can be looked at and like you don't know the tone of a caption or a text, but when someone's actually will like read it out loud or say it out loud and stuff like that, you think, oh wow, like it becomes like it's more organic within a way to speak.
I think because if you've got that emotional connection to people in general, if you see someone cry, you kind of feel that straight away.
I don't,
you?
but yeah,
I don't. So that's why I said. People call us heartless bastards, but we're not. We just don't have that emotional connection.
Maybe I need a counsellor myself, but we move.
Well, that's what today's about. But yeah, if you do have that emotional connection and all the rest of it, you like that?
I thought you had a hair in me, Cole.
But if you do have that emotional connection, you'll watch it and feel Charlotte's pain potentially and feel upsetment. I don't feel that when she's speaking on it. I feel her like her strength and power and what she's gone through and all the rest of it. Like, I'm fucking proud of you. Do you know what I mean? That's what I felt about it.
Yeah, I see it from the point of, oh, go on, bad bitch. Nobody knew that. Do you know what I mean?
And then she's strong enough to speak about it for a good half an hour. And then because it was so...
see, I see that in two ways. I see, bad bitch, you've been through it. And then, wow, even badder bitch that you can speak about it. Because I feel like if you show that you're strong, there's two ways of that. It means, I mean, what am I on about? Shut up, Adam. Like, you can go through it, you're strong, but to talk about it is one more thing about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so like there's two ways of strength there. I think about it.
But I see it like this when I first started speaking about my drug addiction and alcoholism and elements of homelessness and couch hopping, and you don't even know most of that. When I first started speaking about it, you called bullshit on it, and some of the lads did as well, and all the rest of it. But you only know what your brand allows you to share. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't go around speaking about the intricate can't say that word. Intricacies of everything that happened within that 3-4 year window. But I speak about it now to empower other people who are going through it. So I did a support session before with somebody.
And I think I was like absolute bullshit, because it was like a thing of, it came from absolutely nowhere. So I was kind of thinking, well, I didn't even know that. Do you know what I mean? But again, then you spoke on it, so then it was kind of thinking, well, we didn't even know that. Like the thing with Charlotte, we didn't know that until she spoke on it.
Exactly. And I guess you don't want to. From a self-preservation perspective, you don't speak about things because you don't want to seem weak until you're strong enough to speak about it. And 90% of the people out there are never strong enough to speak about it because they're still suffering, they're still not happy.
True.
And then I said this on the podcast, I think, with Charlotte, is that from where I've come from, or should I say where we've come from, like, this is another off-topic conversation, is that I was speaking to someone and said, you should do like an analysis on me and my brother, because where we've come from, you've got a very successful dance school. Yes, you wanted to be more successful. And he's going to pull that face. You always wanted to be more successful. When someone says you've got a successful dance school, you're like, because you know where it can potentially be or where you want it to be. People say to me, you've got a successful business, and I go, oh no, but it is though at the end of the day. Like, I look around and go, from where I've come from, how I managed to buy this table that's not even in my house.
Yeah, I have things like that. Or one day you just look around and go, oh my God, I couldn't even afford that shelf. Do you know? No, but it's really true.
But I totally get it, don't I?
Like,
that's why
it's really true.
And not many people can relate to that. So not many people can go, oh my God, I can afford this table. This table was 62 quid from IKEA or whatever it was. This chair was, with another chair, £120 off Amazon.
You
like,
can buy tables at other outlets as well, in case you try and sue us.
I'm not like sponsored by anybody, but if you want to sponsor us. But like, you get it totally, because you've come from where I've come from. True. And you've built a business that is successful out of fucking nothing.
And then
think about it though, you've built something out of nothing, and through your adversity and through your struggle from growing up in Liverpool and then struggling coming out and then going to an all boys school and then like still thriving beyond that, and then building a dance school that you've got hundreds of kids that go to it, and it's everywhere.
Not hundreds, people. Just in case the tax man comes for me, we don't have
it's
hundreds.
It's only three kids in there.
It's just me, myself, and I. Thank you.
Just me, Heaven, and Eliza. But you get that, like, you can say, how can I afford the shelf?
And then
Some people might not even get what we're on about.
and then when you, sorry, and then when you think like that now, I look and go, ooh, like I laugh because I think, wow, like,
It's mad.
and I don't think until you go through it yourself or see a person go through it, I don't think you do understand it, because I think if I spoke on it, you'd be like, oh, Adam, calm
get
down, you
that?
absolute ming. Like it's a shelf, okay, but you try and buy 5 of them in one go, and then pay a person to put it on the wall, and then buy things to put on it, or earn things or win things to put on it, then have kids go to events to earn it, to win it, to put it on the shelf. Like, it's not just the shelf. It sounds so like, Adam, it's yourself. I know it's a shelf, guys. But I mean,
I
like,
get what you're saying.
like, it's the build up to, this podcast is around a shelf. I get it. But that's just one of the things that, do you know what I mean? Do you know what? In my school, I don't even have a shelf. Oh, yeah, I do, a lie. But
then,
it's just like one of them things. Like, it's like a stepping stone kind of thing to explain what we're on about.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying, because I literally had this conversation yesterday. So I had, where we've come from, technically, we shouldn't have these people in this building in a meeting perspective.
Mm-hmm.
From the poverty and deprivation point of view, from the struggles that we had, your struggles and then my struggles, having directors of organisations that are way bigger than this, but they're coming to us for help, to help young people, to help schools, to help people come from GP surgeries to improve physically, mentally, emotionally, and they've come here because people believe in what I've done, and then all the team done. Now you can see what Charlotte's like. It just reaffirms that, it's not just a fucking shelf. It's what's led us to get that shelf.
It's true.
And beyond that shelf. So that the new rig next door, they were saying, like, they were like, people just think it's scaffolding. It's not just scaffolding. It's the cost of the scaffolding, the partnership with the scaffolding company, then all the equipment that buys it, and then what that scaffolding is going to bring to the community, projects, youth justice service, police crime commissioners getting involved, then building a youth provision so people can come here, get educated in health and fitness, and then potentially a job here. People just see it's a fucking piece of metal. It's not a piece of metal. And to get to that piece of metal, you've had to come through loads of stepping stones. And that's just not buying a cup. That's about getting over addiction, or getting over your lack of self-worth because you're in a job that you hate, stacking shelves, for example, or you're doing this dance school but you're in Holly Lodge and you know you're destined for more, but taking that leap of faith. So I'm speaking very specific around your development from hiring a hall to a dance school, then, aren't I? So you was in how long was you in Holly Lodge for, renting that room?
I was speaking about this yesterday. I don't know who was it to? I think it was to Harley. We went for food and we were talking about it for some reason, and I was like, oh God, yeah, 1.5 years. And she went, it wasn't 1.5 years. I said, it was. I dragged them with us for 1.5 years.
Oh, you was there for 1.5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I opened the school in 2018 in the February.
So we opened up the same time, our companies. I opened up in the midsummer of 2018.
Yeah, so I'm like maybe like 4 months older.
Yeah.
But yeah, I opened it in the February. So then I was there for like that year, and then I stayed the February, March, April, May, June, July. So yeah, like 1.5 years. And then I found the studio that we're in now in like I think it was the May, and then it took that long to sign the lease in the July, and then moved in the September.
So all those little things are stepping stones.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like the leap of faith in yourself, which is a very dramatic way of saying it, but everything that you do is faith in your own ability, and that's why people don't take them leaps.
And nobody knows like the leap that I had to do to like make it work. Like there'll be things like I went to go and view the building, and there was a funeral directors in. I don't even know if you know this.
No, I don't know.
There was a funeral directors in coming to view it after me, and I said to the man at the time, "Oh no, it's man. Like
This is mine. You can't
he's
have
not
it."
allowed in." And he was like, he went, "Mate, I don't think it works like that." I was with my mum, and my mum's like,
Three shears.
I was like, well, I want it. Me, thinking I'm all hard. And then basically, I waited outside and snarled the man when he walked in. And I literally stood over the road from the school like this when the man walked in, and I was like,
Like, you know whose this building is?
pure snarled and I thought, get out of my building. It wasn't even mine. Like, I just went and viewed it once. It was an absolute mess.
It was a mess, wasn't it?
Like, I don't think, no, and that's why I shared it all the time, because I want the kids to be like, oh wow, like,
Proud of where they are.
like if they join us now, reception wasn't the way it is now. Like, it's all nice and new now. It wasn't even like that when I first opened the school. Do you know?
No.
Do you know what I mean? But back to that, like I was so new to it all, and I was like to him, oh no, it's mine now. So then when the funeral directors walked in, I was like, get over it, it's mine.
It's my building.
Yeah, and then when I signed the lease on it, I was like, oh my God, I'm literally petrified. What do I do now? And then when we moved in, I think word got around because I don't know how the kids found out. The kids always tell me, we knew we was about to move, blah, blah, blah. And I think how, but I think one time I posted about I was looking for new teachers or something like that on like, I think when I was in the school, I was open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but this post, I was looking for someone of a Friday, and the kids went, we aren't open of a Friday. So like my kids are like detectives. They will find
They
you.
need to find that information
Yeah.
out.
So they were all on the group chats like blah, 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 blah. And then when I announced it, they all texted me and I was like, oh my God, Adam, we knew we were moving, blah, blah, blah. And then on the first day that I opened the school, like everything went wrong in the build-up. Like the flooring was delayed by 3 weeks.
I remember that.
We were trying to put the floor down on the day we were open. Wayne, Jack's dad in the school, he was like on the last piece of flooring as like the first kid walked in, like, and all them bits. I wish I would have filmed loads back then.
I think you do in reflection, though, don't you? Like, we did very softly, what's the word? Record or document building this.
Oh yeah,
and we
but
mentioned it's nowhere near as enough.
But when you're in the height of it and you're doing the work yourself,
yeah,
you like, I didn't have a big massive team around me. I done it with friends and that came and painted a few walls, but like me
I
and
love
Wayne.
That picture of me and you and Eliza's only like this big. She's
Eliza's
ditty,
tiny,
and she's on the ladder, and
Yeah,
I'm holding
yeah,
the ladder,
yeah.
and you're helping her with the brush, paint
Yeah.
The white wall where the logo is. I love
Yeah,
that
yeah,
picture.
yeah.
But yeah, like when you, again, taking it back to the point I was mentioning, like the resilience within you is the resilience within me. And we've both got completely different reasons for resilience and determination and drive and all those lovely words that people say about getting somewhere. But ultimately, what I mentioned there is that on some level, you had faith in yourself for whatever reason. You thought, I can do this, where most people think, I can't do it, or they won't even attempt to do it. But you left a dance school and took flack for it when you're just trying to better your own life.
And even before that, I think it's the industry I was in. I think a lot of people now say, oh my God, like, how are you, blah, blah, blah. When all things go wrong and stuff like that, or like, do you know what I mean? Like, I won't get into it, but I mean, like, everyone goes, oh my God, Adam, like, how are you? And I think I'm absolutely fine. Like, I've been through worse shit than this, but I think it's the industry I was in from such a young age. I'm kind of used to what's that?
Bitchiness.
What's that? Yeah, that as well. But I mean, like, I'm used to rejection because, like, I'd go to London, I'd spend all kinds on trains. I'd be in an audition for 25 minutes and get cut because I wasn't tall enough for the job.
Yeah.
So, like, when it come, and I don't think nobody knows that if you're not in the dance world.
So then you build up your resilience through that rejection element.
That as
or
well.
Not going well. So then when someone's
and that all leads up to this. Do you know what I mean? Like all like the things of like, oh well, I can't afford that new thing this month for the school. So, but in my head, like I've had to wait longer for more important things. So I just have to like. I'm just chatting out of shit now, but you know what I mean.
No, but there's a.
I was onto something, and then my ADHD threw me.
But there's a point to it, though, isn't it? Is that I think the point was that you think you was attempting to make, or you was going to make it, is that bitchiness aside and all the rest of it, doesn't matter what you say, because you can't dint me. So then, if you wanted something for the school or whatever, it's just a formality. Yeah, I'll get it anyway. Doesn't matter if I can't afford it now or I can't afford it in 12 months.
It's true.
The way you are as a person is very driven. As much as people probably look at me and I get up at 4 in the morning, Adam's in bed till fucking 12 in the afternoon. There's a different level of drive. You've still got that same base level of drive.
Sorry to interrupt, but I was thinking, sorry guys, I was thinking last night, like, I was up last night on the laptop at like 12, where I'm a nighttime worker.
Yeah.
Where you're up at 4, where I'm asleep at 4, and do you know what I mean? Like last night you would have been asleep, nice and cozy in bed.
It wasn't last night. I was in A&E with Billy, so
with the baby.
So I wasn't asleep at all till about 1:30.
And that's what I kind of like struggle with a bit, to the point where I think. Like, well, I used to think, I don't as much now, where if I'm not up by 8, like, I'm behind schedule and someone's going to be ahead of me and I need to be up and need to be on the laptop. But I struggle to work at that time of day where my brain is so active at night time. Like, my mum could walk past at 3 in the morning to go the loo, and I'm up, like, mixing music, and she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, shut up. And I've got my headphones in, and I'm like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's how I work, and it's maybe.
I think it's sold that if you get up early,
and that's the stigma around it, and that's what I struggle with, to the point where I think if I'm not up at that time, I have failed that day. Where now it's literally, to be real, only the last few weeks where I've started to be like, no, I can sleep until 9-10. But my brain works in the nighttime.
So the hours that I'm gaining,
do you know what I mean?
You're gaining the hours. I'm not gaining the hours. You're catching up with me in the nighttime, aren't you? Maybe more, because if you work until 3, then it depends at what time you wake up and all the rest of it. But as I say, like, success is shown as getting up early. You're successful if you get up early. I've always got up early, so it doesn't really make any difference to me.
Yeah.
But when I get up early, I take the dog for a walk, I train, and then I call that. I'm primed for the day. So no matter what comes at me, if it's Billy fucking shitting himself, it's Billy shitting on me. If I have to look after Billy and I'm not doing work, which is, I have to work, that's one of my anchors. If I'm not working like yourself, I'm not successful. I have to be chasing it. Where now I'm a bit more like, I was chill with 3 hours with Bill, because I've already done 4 till 12, for example. People have only been working for 3 hours. I've been working for 7 or whatever. So then I think the get up early has always been my anchor to then build a successful day. Either that be emails, either that be walking Benji, listen to me motivational media, whatever. That's kind of my anchor. And it's not for everyone getting up early, but like I say, social media sells, get up 4 a.m, man. I'm like,
believe in yourself, bro. You can do it,
bitch. Press up.
Where mine is, oh, yo, bad bitches, I can
shake it.
Like, and That's just
But that's just
literally it.
diversity of people anyway, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, you're a completely different human being to me, even though we come from the same family. And I've took totally different paths. But like I was mentioning, that woman who's doing this really interesting study, and I haven't mentioned it to you ever, about this study about where they do a brain scan of a brain, and then they can
It was on the Kardashians last week.
And I missed that episode.
And it shows it. It shows like if you've got stress or anxiety.
Yeah, it's called brain scanning.
Need it.
So
my brain will be.
I've been speaking
this
to
big.
we're
Absolute mushy pea everywhere.
mushy peas. So
can someone who owns a mushy pea factory sponsor me because they're my favourite? Thank you.
So much so, if you give him any sort of
what are you saying?
if you give you any other sort of pea, you go, I haven't that.
Not for me.
Do you remember I got you that Subway?
Oh, here we go.
So we was in the Subway. Well, I
Yawn.
was in the Subway. And
Guys, skip this bit.
This
boredom.
It's not boring because
You're boring.
it means a lot to me because it's given me some sort of anxiety trauma. Is that I was very poor back then, and Adam asked me for a Subway, and I was going to Subway anyway. So I got him a cheese and mayonnaise Subway, wasn't it? But the reason he kicked off because it wasn't grated cheese. So he took the sandwich.
It was the triangle cheese.
So he took
Plastic.
he took the baguette. I went, I'm not having it. And threw it at me in the face of me nans. And I was like, that's £3.50.
I was a little bitch back then. Now
You're still a bitch now.
No. Now I would be nice about it. I'd say that is the wrong cheese.
Right. Are you trying to kid the peace sponsors or fuck people who are watching? Because you wouldn't do that.
Listen, I just want a sponsorship deal with Branston Pickle.
They don't make peas, do they?
I'm sure they do. I'm sure it's B something. Branston or something. Anyway, enough about peas. It's about me.
Yeah, but if you're a pea company, fucking get in touch.
Not Tesco's own. They're vile.
Oh, you can't slate
Or
it.
Aldi or everyone else who sells
Anybody.
peas.
But yet the brain scan, I reckon your brain will look the same as my brain somehow. Because, like, if you think about it, same parents, same upbringing, same challenges, but
No, but I'm really fucked up in the head.
I think we all are to a degree. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think with my ADHD and your ADHD is very similar. Where other people's ADHD is where you're slower,
Yeah.
but we're like, do you know what I mean?
And
We're never ending.
I think I don't think you have this, but I know I have impulse disorder where you control and you go, no, we're me. Like, I'd be saying, okay, let's edit this now, let's get this out, and like at our feet.
Ask Jordan if I'm impulsive.
I want things, or like I want to change things up, and I go, well, I'm gonna do this like right now, and it's really not the right way to do it, but well, I want it, so I'll do that.
So this couldn't be any more. It couldn't be a better time, should I say? So do you know the thing I built in there?
The boxing thing.
Yeah, we was building another floor in there, wasn't we? And for one reason or another, it's not happened. I got that information, let's say now, 10 minutes later, normal people would be like, oh my God, they'd be Debbie Downer for ages because...
Onto the next.
Yeah, because they'd be Debbie Downer because like the whole idea of creating or enhancing your company by 50% is gone like that from an email.
Mm-hmm.
So like, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. So what I did is that I said, I'm going to build something, reached out to people, bought the equipment and set it up within the space of a week. Asked Charlotte, was I too impulsive or not? Because she was like, I don't like it, I don't the way it looks. I was like, well, when it's finished and spray painted and it's all done, it'll look boss and it'll bring new services to our company. And then Sam, he walked in, do you know Sam, who's the Wellbeing Centre manager, he walked in and he texted the WhatsApp group, what's this? So I didn't really tell anyone it was happening. I just did it, and I'm very impulsive, where now Sam's the centre manager, Charlotte's a lot more in the business, so she's operations director, plus we've got other directors in the company, so I don't necessarily report to people, but I kind of do. Do you know what I mean? So then if I wanted to, well, we are buying lots more equipment for this side of the centre.
Where's it going?
Just going to move a few things around, basically. Exactly.
Just move that this
Just move
way.
that there, go that over there. So normally I'll buy it and just make it work. Where now I've got to be more methodical and slow down because they've got processes what they're trying to do. But I'm like, let's just do it. So when I did that, because I got told basically a no, and I was like, no, I'm going to do it. And then I built it, and I've got things set up to really enhance young people's well-being that will never access anything like this ever from the backgrounds that they come from or the situations that they're in. You just wouldn't. So then I know that's going to be a success. I'm going to build another on that wall. But at first, people are like, why have you done that? Like, it's too soon. I'm like, no, it's perfect timing, to be honest. So I think if you ask Charlotte that question,
she'd most would be like, yeah,
yeah, you're exactly the same as that, as Craig with that. Because I am very much...
Go.
Yeah, because I think if you're not, that comes back down to...
laziness. Sorry.
You got Tourette's as well?
Maybe. Don't know.
No, I wasn't going to say...
Mink.
No, but...
I feel like Beyonce.
Woo! Well, why would you say laziness for?
Because they don't act up on things fast.
Oh, yeah, I think that as well. But... what was I saying? You said laziness. Impulsiveness, thanks, George. I think if you're standing still and you're not acting and you're not progressing, you're not progressing the business, you're not being successful, and you, as you just literally said, and I said this sentence yesterday, people are catching you up, and people will overtake you in either that be brand, revenue, getting better staff, more members, better partnerships, blah blah blah. But then I say this to myself every day: people can't replicate what I'm doing because they're not me, and they haven't got a Charlotte, and they haven't got a Katie, and they haven't got a Sam, and they haven't got a Haley, and they haven't got a Andy, blah blah blah.
Did you name all your staff?
The ones who are currently operating, yeah. The others are on training and in the background you don't see. But yet you can't replicate this. So sometimes when I think about that, then it's okay to chill with Billy for a couple of hours and be more methodical on the equipment that we're buying, where normally I'm like,
yeah, I want next day.
Fucking next day delivery. Deliver that stepper now.
Where is Amazon?
Deliver the stepper now. Do you know what I mean? But no, I have to wait and...
like you just said then, I was about to say, like, no one can do that because they're not you. Because I think a lot of people see what you do and think, that's easy, I can do that, but they don't have the creative brain to actually keep on pushing with what you've built. So yeah, you can build what I've built by basically copy and pasting it. Yeah. But that's all you'll get to, because you've got no more stepping stones in your brain to allow you to grow more.
They haven't got that innovative brain, have they? They don't
to
think of
keep
innovation.
on growing. Or if there's a wall that comes, they go, oh well, we can't do that. Well, we've been told no loads and loads of times, and we
shit thrown at us.
We found a way, and if we don't find a way, we'll
create the way.
Yeah, and like,
bad bitch.
Piss me off because
I'll fuck you up.
Clean out.
I'll fucking chicken you.
Have a chicken, yeah. Absolutely not.
Brilliant.
We won't do any of the sort. No physical harm.
No, we're all about well-being and what would you say your thing is? Performing? Creativeness?
Well, I say this week I had to write. Actually, last week I had to write a new biography for the school, and I'm all about creating art and visuals for stage, screen, and content. And so like I say, we are a dance school, but not your traditional dance school, because traditional dance schools do like dance exams and
all that.
You stand at the bar and blah blah blah. Which I did as a kid, but sorry, you're not going to walk into a Beyonce audition. She says, "Have you got grey 4 tap?"
I totally agree with you, and I don't know anything about the industry to a degree. I know shuffleable changes, don't I?
Oh, come on.
Shuffle hop.
He's coming for all the dance teachers' gigs here.
Lad, I'm coming to take over.
But like, I was speaking to someone about this a few weeks ago. I don't know who it was. But like, that's how it used to be years ago, because that's all there was. Where now, with like the social side of it, like, you can do so much more. There's so many more jobs now. Like the pop world and pop culture of, like, there's more pride events, there's more shows, there's a lot more performance opportunities out there now when there was when I was a kid. Like, in a dance school, you would do an exam and then you would do a show a year.
And I think when you kind of touched on innovation already, and I think it takes new blood to create a new path.
And
Like,
the old people don't enjoy that.
Like, do you know what really pisses me off? I'm going to use one of my examples, is that I've always been interested in improving the well-being element, and I do that by using fitness and holistic as an enabler to improve well-being. So,
what's holistic? I never know what that means.
So holistic is anything to do with spiritualization, such as yoga, Tai Chi, Pilates,
do you know what I thought it was?
Meditation. What?
I thought it was oils.
like massages?
No, you'd put oil there and go, oh, dead calm.
That could be an element of holistic.
Okay.
But an implementation of a holistic session is normally traditional elements, such as yoga, Tai Chi, meditation. And there's loads of different variations of yoga. And once you do that, you connect to your inner being. And that's holistic.
Okay.
So if you haven't tried it before, anybody, I think that's kind of put me onto a new path around being peaceful within myself. So then I'm not like, where I'm a lot more peaceful now, where I used to be, like we mentioned. Like, I'm happy who I am. Like, I'm totally chilled who I am. And I think when that happens, I pass that energy on to Billy. I pass that energy on to Jordan. Pass that energy on to you. Pass that energy on to Eliza. You don't technically feel or see it, but...
I'm Penny.
Oh, yeah, little Pen. That's my niece. But you
wait until you meet her. Wow.
You think we're mental? Wow. She is.
Absolute favourite.
She's absolutely beautiful, though, isn't she? Let's be honest.
She's off her head. I love her.
I've said this since day one. She reminds me of me when I was a little one. And then I see her, the way she acts, and she's like, just always like, ah!
She's so full on. I love her.
I love her, you know. We'll have her on next. Just be fair, she'll bite the microphone. And
she'll go, oh, move that.
Dirty.
Yucky.
So well-being. I've always been interested in promoting well-being. And I'm all for people trying to help people improve well-being. But because of the pandemic and what went on with that, and it highlighted that if you're exercising more, you feel better, because overall all the gyms closed, then that showed statistically people really suffered because they couldn't go and outlet some negative energy. They could improve their own confidence by exercising.
Yeah.
So that really shined a spotlight on improving mental and emotional well-being. So then other companies are jumping on the bandwagon
of it
by saying, improve your well-being, come here. And they don't give you any additional tools around improving your well-being, where here we obviously do. We do.
All they want is a sign-up.
Exactly.
They want
That's what frustrates me.
22, whatever it is, 99 a month. No contract, cancel when you want to, blah, blah, blah. You can have all the branding in the world, but if you don't do the legwork yourself, then good luck, hun. That's all I'm saying.
I know, that's what I'm saying about...
That's your caption for this. Good luck, hun.
Good luck, hun. But I was saying we were talking about innovation. So the fitness industry was what those people are designed as. That's now a well-being industry. And I've got no problem with that, because I think people should have access to loads of different services and loads of different ways. Like, I know this isn't for everyone, because what
works for her doesn't work for him, and vice versa. Yeah.
But I'm okay knowing that. But when you try and brand up your organisation that isn't a wellbeing organisation, and you say you are a wellbeing organisation, and then you charge X amount for a gym membership, yes, exercise does help, but if someone's that low and they come to join your gym or join your facility or join your group to improve well-being, and there's no other wraparound service, you're just a fake. And I don't like that. I've seen that happen all the time. So when you're saying about the dance industry's changed from, I don't know what you call it, grade 4 tap. Is that the right
Oh
way?
my God.
Is that the right thing to say?
Yeah.
Hold it on the bar to what you do, which is totally different. But again, you still have those core principles,
Oh God, yeah.
but it's totally different. Like if you,
But nobody. So sorry to interrupt, but I feel like no, because I'm so different to that. I think people go, "That's so bad," blah 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 blah. But what they don't know
like,
is
what example? Give me an example.
like they'd be like, how would they used to say? Because now they don't speak on it because I've been open for X amount of years. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, they would be like, these kids get pushed too hard, blah blah blah. Okay, but why did my kid beat your kid and your kid does exams? Sorry about that.
Sorry about you.
Sorry about it. Do you know what I mean?
Ta-da.
Like, just things like they'd say like, he's got teachers with no qualifications. Yeah, because that teacher is a working dancer in the industry, and that teacher isn't teaching a ballet exam class because we don't do exams. So it was kind of that thing what got circulated within the industry,
I totally agree with that because
and it was like, okay, so sorry, but I'm just on a rant now. Like it was like, okay, but we don't want to do what you are doing, and I'm okay with that. But if you're okay with me doing something different, then I'm not the problem. Yourself
I was
are.
going to say that because, again, I'll use my experience in a minute based on what we've done here, is that when you step out of a lane
Oh yeah,
and
nobody likes it.
someone casts a stone in your direction, you must be doing something good because people don't like change, especially if it's not within their agenda
Yeah.
and they haven't designed it. So if you're doing that, they're always going to judge you for doing something different. And normally 9 times out of 10, they're fucking envious of you. So yeah, like give me the negative shit because you're fucking fueling me.
And they're never gonna. Someone who is doing less than you is never gonna talk about you.
Exactly.
So like, if I get talked about or spoke about or aim statuses or blah blah blah, I think, okay, just wait until I actually post the real thing that I'm kind of
Building up on.
working on. Us, do you know what I mean? Like, I've got lots of things in the pipeline, but we keep it all under wraps. And I do that within the school, so then it's exciting for the kids as well.
I
So,
do the same for members.
so then I tell the kids, and then the kids go, "What? We're about to dance at this or that?" Or like when we did the Disney ship years and years ago, no other school within maybe the UK, I would say, that's a big shot. I know someone might have, so don't come for me.
Don't come hating on us.
Don't
you know
come
what I
for
mean?
me in the comments.
I went on the friggin' ship.
Like no other dance school had supported and opened the show for Disney Cruise Lines, and I did within 6 months of me opening the school. So
And that's what I'm...
do you know what I mean? And now I think, oh my God, like we did that, and I wish we could do we could do it again. But since COVID and all that stuff, like they pulled back on all events because of their funding and stuff like that, which I do understand. But like when we do events like that, it's
It's amazing for the kids. That's what you do it for, really.
yeah. Oh
Plus-
God, yeah.
Plus your little egos going, well done, Adam.
But it's the reason why I opened the school, because down south, kids are on stage at age 5. We don't have that up north. We don't have shows on every single night.
No.
So I opened my school to get the kids on stage to perform as much as they can and don't stress about exams because they have enough of it in school.
And I think what you're kind of building
what I mean?
on that, again, I'm just fucking guessing here, but this is my opinion. So any dance,
Don't guess, educate.
any dance teachers, don't start shouting at me. This is from my experience of being in the dance industry, is that you doing grading, etc., etc. What is that going to get you as a job, as an opportunity?
Well,
etc.?
only recently they've started to do, like the more you get up and up and up, like grade 5, intermediate, blah blah blah, the more exams you do and stuff like that, they only recently within the last few years, they go towards like UCAS points.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that's for like universities
But
and all that.
only certain dance colleges now do degrees, where some of them are private courses still,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? So unless you want to go and really be a dancer and do a degree in, I don't know, like a university, which some dance courses aren't that good. Only a few of the good schools now have actually started to do degrees so they can get the funding and stuff
Yeah.
like that, because they were they were turning away insane dancers just because they couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
But that's what they've started to do now, and I think that's because exam boards clicked. Shit, not a lot of people are
No.
trying to do exams now, so they've had to do something. This is what I believe, they've had to do it like that to keep everyone on board. Say, well, no, this does go towards UCAS points now, and then that gets a whole new group of people to look at them and to go, oh yeah, well now we can offer this and we can
Yeah.
offer that, which really you don't really need it. If you're an insane dancer, you can be an insane dancer without taking the exam. It doesn't mean if you've took that exam, you are better than that kid. It doesn't mean that, because that kid could train and train and train and train, do the exact same exam classes as you, but could go to Spain on that week of the exam. That doesn't mean just because you've took that exam, you're better than that kid. So I don't understand. How about my training and all my exercises, what I do with my kids, doesn't mean they're better dancers just because they get exam classes.
No.
And if you've been brought up in that world of exams and blah, 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 you don't see my point of view, because all you're thinking about is exam classes, exam classes. That's all you think about.
But I've seen how you help your kids, and I think it's worth noting is that I can't remember the kid's name, but anyway, I'll tell the story. Is that
She's called Sideshow Bob.
I don't think she is. Is that she's only a diddy little one, and she when I first came, I'm not there very often, am I, to be honest, in the studio, but then I always see your company do what we do, but for little people with a very specific skill set. So you improve little people's physical, mental health, even if they're struggling or they're not. They're going to improve being around you and your team, because they just are. I've seen it. Remember this little one, this little person walk in, and she was like, dead timid and like,
Dead shy.
Hi, and then she just scuddied in, and I was like, oh, how cute she.
Tiny.
And then I must have come back maybe like 2 months later.
Oh yeah. Absolute.
Do you know what I mean?
Monsters, aren't
So like
they?
they turn into I call my team the mini monsters, like the mini monsters in me. Yes, we all need a lift from time to time, and I do that with every one of them. And you do that every time with your little dancers. Is that they're not always on it, but then coming to the studio and rehearsing, yes, hard, because you want to build the best team and the best dancers with potentially the best job opportunities. But those group of kids, if they didn't come to you, where else would they be? They might go to another dance school, but would they be at that level, physically, mentally, emotionally, loving life? Look at me. Do you know what I mean?
Speaking on this only maybe a week or two ago.
So I reckon I should build one in Chester. Just put it out there.
Just give me a day off. Wednesday's my day off. I was speaking about this last week because all the extra things that we do within the school, like we have Confidence Connie, we have like dance.
I love confidence. What's confidence, Connie? Tell everyone what confidence, Connie is.
So I'll get to Confidence Connie because I'll forget about this. Oh, I forgot about it.
Talk about confidence, Connie, and then it might come back up. You're talking
No,
about different. You're talking about different things.
I'm on it. Sorry, guys. So basically, all the extra things we do in the school, and like all like the extra things like YouTube and all the other things that no other dance school does, people enjoy it when they are a part of it. But when maybe they don't agree with something I do, then they go, oh, well, I don't want this. I'm going somewhere else. Well, you go enjoy somewhere else, but you're never going to get the extra things that I do. And then it's kind of one of them things where you enjoy it when you are in it, but when it doesn't go your way, it's kind of a thing with like, well, I can just go to another dance school. Well, you can, but what you got off me, where it's all about names and not a number, that's when you kind of actually see what we actually do. And when new people join the school, and like they're glued to the mum's leg, and I say, oh, what's your name? And they go, I go, what's your name? And then 6 weeks later, they bounce in, hi, Adam. And I think, oh my God, have I made a better person or a monster? And then mums go like, Adam, even in the schoolyard, she runs away now, or she comes home and goes, Mum, I don't even want to do that homework. Where she'd be like, Mum, I need to do my homework.
I think
like,
that might be a bit of a negative one, but ultimately you're building a positive human being.
It's character building at the end of the day.
And I think that I focus on with we're doing lots more around children's well-being in our company, not as much as probably what Adam does, but what we're going to be doing is focus on kids' well-being, because I've known this for a long time, but Billy's made me look at my upbringing and how I was connected to our parents, or not so connected to our parents from an emotional level perspective. We spoke about this, and then we suffer with PTSD with Billy because, like you don't have that emotional connection to people. So you see some crying, you're like, fucking shut up.
If I see a dog like really upset, I get upset.
I don't do that.
Oh, I do. It's a dog.
How do you know a dog's upset?
Little sad eyes.
Dogs don't have sad eyes.
Marley and Me, I cry every time.
Marley and Me, that's a good film. That's a bit sad, that film.
And I sobbed when Drama died.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like, it's
Drama was Adam's dog that died.
So Drama was the
ago.
most iconic chihuahua in the world. He would sneeze when he was fuming. He would.
I don't know.
And I'd be like, why are you fuming?
Why are you kicking off there, Dan?
And he sadly passed away in August, I think. It wasn't August, it was July.
July, that's what I
I wasn't even in the country in August.
It was July, weren't it?
But yeah, I only get sad when if it's to do with a dog. Like, I'm not bothered about your hamster or about your cat or anything like that. If a dog's like,
Hamster.
do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not emotional, like, and I think that maybe works well because
It works well what we do.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't get
Attached to shit.
to
That's what I say all the time.
like, if kids are upset, I feel like if I wasn't the way I was, I'd stop.
You would immerse yourself in it.
Class, and I'd be like.
But then what you have to
Obviously,
remember.
I do look after the kid. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah,
I don't leave the child.
You don't just leave the kid crying.
But I feel like I give them hard love, and then they think I can do it because Adam said I can. So then they get straight out of that mindset where some mums go, oh, I say out of sight, out of mind. Go, just go, and I'll sort it.
That was my point. Is that I'll take it back to my point about child development from 0 to 5, and is that you've got some babies in your school under 5, haven't you?
We take them from age 3, yeah.
Yeah. So
And
they
they're
build
about
them.
this big.
The auntie, some of them little cute
Absolute
ones.
babies.
What you're building from a building block brain perspective is life habits. So yes, you're making a confident Carly, or
It's confidence, Connie.
no, and I'm not talking about you. You'll get back to that. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying in general, a confident Carl or a confident Collie.
Collie.
Confidence
Collie.
You're building that child's development way beyond 25, 26, 27, because they're building resilience in that early years.
I'm going to flip this table in a minute.
But do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever thought of it like that, but
I have now, only since Jack and Ruby have gone on to college. I've seen them be like so on the like we have to be at the bus at 7. And I've gone, wow, these have only just left school. Kids who leave school, like, oh yes, I've got time off now.
let's have some weed in there.
Where my kids are like, maybe I've not made them like that, but
Regimented you have.
But like they are like, I'm just like so proud of how they've just like passed just straight on to college without no like ups or downs or trying to like just have a week off or stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like,
you look at your kids, yes, they might do things outside of.
oh, kids aren't like perfect,
No,
are
I don't
they?
know if they do or they don't. So the parents are watching. I don't know.
My kids are.
But if when the kids that are in your studio, they're a different caliber to the kids that you see a genetic child in the same age group. Do you know what I mean? Because
Or in a dance school.
because they are regimented, because they are under you, and same with our members and same with our organisations who work with us. NHS for one, we tell any NHS what we're doing and how we're going to lead this project, and they go, okay, because they know my work ethic and then how everybody else operates underneath me. Like, talk about fucking hoovering up. I know everyone doesn't give a shit about hoovering, but I believe people coming in this building around improving well-being and feeling a safe environment, if it looks like shithole and there's dust on the bike, people like, subconsciously the brain's like, oh, okay, this is not what I want to do or what I want to feel like. So then if my team are regimented and the pathway coming into the NHS is crystal clear, then they come in and they're like, oh yeah, it's a nice space to be in, and the team are on it with them straight away. There's no opportunity for them to go, I'm not going to improve. They just will improve.
Yeah.
And that's same with your kids, is that there's a clear path of success, whatever that means to you and whatever that means to them. But they've transitioned from school, or the studio should I say, and school in general, to I'm in the college. This is the path I'm going on. And then they might follow your path. Jack might end up going around the world on cruise ships. You might end up going at doing shows. You don't know, like the breadth of what you've done, which we'll get onto in the second part of the podcast, is that you've been everywhere and done everything, and then you've took all that knowledge.
Not that much.
Don't be so modest.
I know.
But you've brought all that foundation knowledge, the good and the bad, into your school, and without you probably even knowing it, you're passing on that knowledge and support to Jack or one of your other guys who work with you, and then they've got better understanding of like, right, I'm going to do this, that, or the other. But we'll pick that up in the next part. So this is part 1/part 2